Alrighty, hello, good day, and welcome. My name is Mr. JB, and today we're going through something a little bit different. This is something I get asked pretty often as a transportation teacher. I teach auto shop. What do I buy or what should I get as a starter apprentice? What should I go look at? And this kind of relates to more here in Canada because we don't have Harbor Freight. We don't have access to that. And I know in the US, Harbor Freight, you just go there and you spend $1,000 and you get a ton of stuff. Here in Canada, Apprentice Auto, which is kind of similar but not quite. The deals aren't as good and the tools aren't the same quality. So I've broken this down between a few stores. Really, it just ends up being between Canadian Tire, Princess Auto, and a little bit of Home Depot through the average stores that are around here, at least in my area in Ontario. Now, starting off, this is kind of depends on where you want to start. I start off with a tool cart. To me, I think the tool cart's better than a box because as an apprentice, you're going to be rolling around, you're going to be moving around, you're going to be transferring from like one bay to another. You're not always going to be in bay 1 or in bay 2 as an apprentice or as a starting off mechanic. You're going to kind of be bouncing around. So I think having a tool cart is going to be better for your mobility and you going places across the shop to do different tasks. Now, this one to me is the best one that I found. I have like 7 of these in my shop and my classroom. I found these to be really good. This is kind of pretty close to the set that I built, just a little bit cheaper depending on where you're starting off. We'll just talk about a few of those different options. Now, I found this one really great because that right drawer, this one right here, to the right, this nice big one. This one is great for putting in sockets. It's nice and tall, it's deep. You can fit all of your sockets in there, and I think that works out really well. And then you've also got tons of other drawers and tons of other space. You've got a bunch of racks for you to put in your screwdrivers. So in the sides, I don't know if any of the pictures show it, but up here, there's holes just like these, and that allows you to put your screwdrivers and your pliers and things like that in there for when you're going about and you're doing any of these tasks. Now, if this is the one that you've chosen, cool. $4.99 is its regular price. It usually goes on sale for somewhere around the $3.99 mark. That's about the price I got mine for when I bought mine, and that's an awesome starter thing. And you can probably run this cart for your entire trade as your tool cart because most people end up having a mobile cart and then a big station. I think this would work great long term as well. I had something a little different because this wasn't available when I was an apprentice, but I think this is an awesome option for you starting off. If you think the workstation is more your jam, you'd rather have a toolbox and be in a home base and go and grab your tools and come back, or you're in a place where you're not actually going to be mobile tech, this is, to me, one of your greatest starting off options. They're relatively cheap. They go on sale for $3.99 all the time. You've got a fleet of different color options. It's got decent amount of drawers. Now, if you've got more money, obviously buy a bigger box, but for $500, it's a great starting platform. The drawers are okay. They're not the greatest. They're not easy close or anything like that, but it is a great option as a starting point and as a starting platform. You do want to get as many drawers as you can, or as deep of a box as you can. That's going to help you long term before you have to expand and get another box. But Home Depot has some amazing toolbox options. You don't need to go and buy a Snap-on toolbox for $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 or some crazy ridiculous price. There are some really amazing options at Home Depot for the professional level tool person or the professional level mechanic. Even Canadian Tire has one. Not the best, but if I was going into the trade again and I was starting off, I'll probably start off with one of these two options, at least to get me rolling to see, because there's no point dropping $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,500 on a toolbox just to find out in 6 months that you hate this and this is the worst job ever. So if you've chosen whatever, awesome. Most of this stuff is kind of catered toward whichever, but we're going to talk about both different options. Now, if I was buying that tool cart, I would be buying probably this set. Now, this set's a little bit cheaper than the other one. The ratchets aren't as amazing of quality. You can see them. They've got their little quick release down here. This kit comes with a few wrenches, not ratcheting wrenches, but just some basic wrenches. So that's a great option if you're starting off. Again, you only have a couple $100 to buy some tools. They come in these plastic trays, which to me kind of suck, but there's better options, but it's going to cost you more money. So if you're starting off in the trade, This is great if you're going to the cart because you're not going to use these trays in your tool cart anyways. There just isn't the space. If you're buying your tool box, instead you're buying that Husky box. This is a good option. You still got your trays, you've got your organization. It comes with your screwdriver, it comes with your bits, it comes with spark plug sockets, it comes with just about every socket that you're going to need, and a few wrenches and some Allen key bits. As a starter off platform, this is awesome. This is what I bought for my toolboxes for my classroom. I bought like 7 of these to match my carts, and I put them in trays and I organized them a little bit differently than what this is. Now, $199, a wicked price for this kit if that's something you are thinking about. Now, the better option is this one, but as you can tell, the price is quite a bit different. Now, these come in foam trays, so when you pop these out, the sockets go nice back into place. They aren't cheap. They don't roll around as much. They don't slide. I find these amazing. I have a couple of tool sets in the shop for my senior level kids, and this is what we use. I find this amazing because we've got ratcheting wrenches that come in this kit, so that means you don't have to go buy those. It comes with all of your sockets, comes with some different flex heads, but I just find the organization a little bit better because I really like having the foam inserts. The labels are really nice for looking at your numbers, and the ratchets are, in my mind, a lot better than that other kit. These ones are a little bit chunkier, they're a little bit wider, they're a little bit fatter. These ones are a little bit more low profile. To me, these ones match the Matco ones that I used to use when I was in the trade, and I honestly think these might even be better than the Matco ones that I used when I was in the trade. So I really like these ratchets. I really find that the socket set's great, but if you look at that price difference, $479 to $199 on sale, that's a big discrepancy in prices. But if you bought this set, you probably wouldn't be upgrading ever to buy different ratchets unless you really want to buy Snap-on, or you really want to buy Mac or Matco, or whoever your tool truck person is that comes by. But you really don't need to upgrade past this for your basic sockets and your basic kit. The other one, you're probably going to want to change out those ratchets in a few years. Sockets are probably going to last you just as long, but this one is just a little bit more longevity. Again, just depends on where you're starting off and how much money you have to spend and drop into your first starter time as an apprentice. Now, you're going to be doing a lot of tires as an apprentice. Me, I did more tires than I can ever count as an apprentice in oil changes. You're going to want a decent torque wrench. You're going to be checking wheels. You're going to be making sure that they're tight and they're good. You're going to want a torque wrench. Now, this Maximum one, fantastic starter thing. Probably my second or third year, I bought one from one of the tool trucks. I bought a Mac one. I thought that Mac one was the best. I still have it to this day. It still ends up being good. I've never needed to recalibrate it. Whenever I've tested it, it has always been great. If you're just starting off, $140, these things usually go on sale for around $99 on average. These are great. I find the Princess Auto ones, I didn't choose them as an option at all, or the Home Depot ones or whatever, because their prices are a little higher. The Princess Auto ones are lower, but I find that they go out of spec way more often, and then you're having to go to Princess Auto and trade it in and get your warranty, and you're just wasting a lot of time with that, and I find that this one just works great. Now, if this is a little too expensive and you just need to get something, then you can end up going to grab this one. Now, these both go on sale. The other one usually goes on sale for around $99. This one usually goes around sale for around $69. Quality's not as great on this one. Again, it's going to do the same job. If you're just starting off and you're testing the waters, maybe just buy this one for the first year or so and then just upgrade to go to the tool trucks. That'd be one of the few things that I actually recommend buying from a tool truck. Other than that, I try to avoid them. I wasted a lot of money as an apprentice. I didn't know any better. I never had anyone to guide me on that stuff. So if you can avoid the tool trucks, avoid the tool trucks. So now, depending on what type of garage you go into, you might be having to torque drain plugs. If you are, again, you're going to need a torque wrench for that. The big torque wrench isn't going to do the job because it's going to be too small in numbers for your torque wrench. They're not going to be above 50 foot-pounds, which these ones both are. For 50 foot-pounds to start, they're probably going to be somewhere around 14 to 20 or something around those ranges. So you want something that can do that torque. Now, this Maximum one, again, I'm doing a lot of Canadian Tire stuff, but this ends up working out quite well. Again, same idea if you're going to Princess Auto or one of the other brands. I find them not to be as great as the Maximum ones ends up being, and just for longevity. This one goes on sale for, as you can see, $80. It's 50% off very regularly $160. Even this price is really close to the regular price of Princess Auto, which is, I think, like $59.99. So $20 more. You get a way better torque wrench. It's going to last you way longer. It comes in a nice case. I just think this is a great high quality item, at least to start off. Again, if you're in this trade for a long time, maybe you'll consider switching out. If you're not a place that needs to torque drain plugs and that's not your practice or your shop's practice, I guess you don't need to buy one of these for a while until you start doing spark plugs, and then that'll kind of be your next stage for using that and for using a smaller torque wrench. If you're thinking about pliers, there's lots of different options. I prefer these ones. These ones are pretty similar, at least for starting off. 35 bucks on sale. You get a ton of different pliers. Now you're not going to use them all. You're probably not going to use this funky pair right here, but you'll use probably all of the other ones. Now these rubber handles, they do get a little slippy, they degrade, sometimes they fall off, and you just have to re-epoxy them on. But for 34 bucks, you're starting off at a great place with more tools, and that's what you want when you're starting off as an apprentice, is just having more tools. The more tools you have, the more stuff you can do. You can change the quality later as you start to progress. As I ended up in the trade and I ended up later on in my career, I have Mac, I believe, pliers for the most part. There are some really nice Maximum ones that you can get. They're usually like 150 bucks for the set. Pretty expensive. They go on sale for like 90 bucks. They're great quality. To me, those are the equivalent of what my Macs are, and I paid way more than that for my Mac ones. So when you're out in the trade and you're an apprentice, consider not buying from the tool truck. Look around, look and find better options. There's that, I believe, is Mr. Subaru. He always shares who makes these other tools, and you can save yourself a ton of money doing that. Now, we talked about tires. We talked about changing tires and having to torque them. You're gonna want an impact gun. When you're thinking about a impact gun, you're probably gonna have to start off buying something a little cheaper. This is a great option. It's got, I think, somewhere around 1,100 foot-pounds of torque, which is just for you removing lug nuts, removing wheel nuts, all of those things, because you're just going to be smashing out tires. As you go later in your career, I would recommend probably hopping off to an electric. The Milwaukee electric ones are fantastic. They're amazing. But starting off, something around this range, there's definitely lots of options. Canadian Tire has options. Everyone has options. I just found this one as I was looking through to be one of the better choices for choosing a cheaper impact gun to get you rolling and get you started. Now this one's on sale from Sunex. Wicked price, roughly around the same quality. This one just happens to be on sale, so you could get 70 bucks. This thing doesn't have as much torque. It's got 610 instead of upwards of 11, but it just means that you won't be able to take off those crazy tight nuts as easily, but it'll still do probably everything you need it to for an apprentice for half the price, or a little less than half the price. Again, just depending on where your budget and where your money sits. Now, these socket racks are exactly what I use. I have 2 of these in my top right drawer of these tool carts. Top right drawer here, I have 2 of them, and I end up putting on all of the sockets that came out of that kit for the most part, other than some 1/4-inch stuff. The 1/4-inch stuff I end up having on some little cheaper socket rails that we have, and they go in the drawer to the left, but this holds a ton of stuff. It fits 2 of these perfectly into that drawer, and it organizes well. They're 17 bucks. The plastic clips sometimes break, so just keep that in mind. They aren't the best thing in the world, but they're great for starting off before you start to kind of upgrade and adjust and move forward and move on. There's lots of different socket options. There's some where there's little pegs and you can slide those on. Those work great, but they don't fit into that drawer amazing. So just something to consider. You want to try and figure out what fits in your kit the best, and I know that these fit in my kit and they fit well. Now, depending on which one of those 2 kits you got, if you ended up getting that first set here, it came with a bunch of wrenches, so you wouldn't need to buy these. Now, Mastercraft wrenches I find are actually really good. They don't have stuff for like stripped bolts and things like that, like some of the Snap-on ones do. But if you look at this price as $39.99, and you look at a Snap-on one that's $299, are they 10 times better? Not really. I used these wrenches, pretty much this exact same kit, for my entire time in the trade, my entire time in industry. I found them to be perfect. They worked well, and they come with their own little organizer. That way you don't end up having to take them off, which when you're starting off, it's always nice to be able to organize and keep your tools organized. Now, these are just the metric and imperial versions. So if you ended up getting this more expensive version, you only have ratcheting wrenches, and these heads where the ratchets are a little bit larger. Well, quite a bit larger really. And you might need to fit into tight places, so that's why these are handy. If you bought that more expensive kit, you might want to consider buying these. I've thought about Princess Auto, I've thought about the Husky ones, I've thought about a bunch of different other ones. I have some of the Princess Auto ones, and my students have broke probably about 10 or 15 of them, and I've never broke a wrench before. I've never snapped one, I've never broken a tooth, I've never knocked off any of the heads. and somehow they all just keep breaking. It's just a quality thing. So I would recommend buying these. I never broke a single one of these when I was in the trade. They work good. I think that's where I would go if I was starting off, and they go on sale for 40 bucks. You really can't beat that price. Now, we talked about oil changes. Depending on what you're doing and what kind of garage you're at, this is the end all be all. It's an oil change. It's an oil filter claw. It just attaches to your ratchet, your 3/8 drive ratchet, and it helps to tighten around, grab that filter. It kind of crushes a little bit and helps you to spin it off. They're on sale all the time at the Princess Auto. It's kind of the only place around that you could get it, other than if you went to Napa or if you went to CarQuest, which is here just some part suppliers. They sell some tools. You could get them there, but they're pretty much the same tool. They'll charge you more money. I bought my first tool. This was the first thing I ever bought off of a tool truck. I bought it from Mac because they were the first ones with the patent for it, I believe, at that time. And it cost me like $40. They're on sale for 12 bucks now. That's an amazing price. They work amazing to me. This is like one of the first tools you should be throwing in there as well, because when you're doing oil changes, this is, in my mind, the end all be all for doing them. You can get the oil filter cups and things later, but this is just a nice adjustable. It'll do 9 times out of 10 what you need it to do, unless you're working for Toyota or some other brands where they have really weird filter designs or cap designs. This is pretty much where you're going to want to be going. Now, if you're doing oil changes, you're doing tires, you're probably doing multi-point inspections. It means you need to measure tread and you need to measure brake depth. So you're going to want these two tools kind of start off. These go on sale for a couple bucks all the time, and this usually goes on sale for somewhere around 15. Something you want to end up throwing in your kit. Doesn't have to be right away, but something that you do want to start adding in there to make sure that you're giving your accurate readings, and that's going to be your selling tools. You're going to be selling people brake kits, or you're going to be selling tires, or you're going to be selling whatever, so that way you can do the services and get more experience, make more money, or learn more. And if you're heading into the flat rate world, this is going to be you eventually. Now, I know that's a ton of information, that's a ton of stuff. I just feel that this is something I get asked a lot, and I wanted to make a quick little video again to just kind of go over some of the things that you have as options, you have as things that you can do and buy, and hopefully not break the bank at the end of the day. Now, I bought this kit right here, and I filled it with wrenches, I filled it with screwdrivers, I filled it with a bunch of other things. Now, screwdrivers aren't on my list because as you're starting off in the trade, you're probably not going to need them a ton, and this kit here comes with them. Both these kits come with a type of screwdriver with all the bits that you need. It's not the best screwdriver in the world, but it's also got adapters so that way you can attach it to a ratchet. So as starting off, great. If you want a screwdriver set, Princess Auto, Canadian Tire, they've always got them on for like 10 or 15 bucks. Just buy one with the handles that you like and come with the ones that you need, and that's pretty much it. You don't need to buy Mac or Snap-on or, again, the professional, I put in quotations, level tools, because the other ones will do all the work that you need them to at the end of the day. And a lot of the times you're not even going to be using a screwdriver. You're eventually going to get an impact driver, and you're just going to be electric screwdrivering everything and zinging it off. So dropping a ton of money into screwdrivers doesn't overly make sense. Now, there's obviously tons and tons of tools that you could buy as an apprentice starting off. You can buy locking pliers, you can end up buying pry bars. There's tons of things that you could buy, but for most folks, as they're starting off, beginning their apprenticeship, to me, this is probably a great starter kit. And you can probably get your tool cart filled, this one here, the same way that I did, for under $1,000. I think I was probably about $800 by the time I filled it with all of my tools and all of my things. By the time I dealt with sales and I dealt with discounts and stuff like that, at least I know for a fact I did not peak $1,000, and $1,000 in starting is fantastic. When I started off in the trade, I probably dropped $1,500, and I didn't have half as much as what this is in terms of tools. So just something to consider, some food for thought. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you enjoyed. If you'd like to see some more stuff like this, please let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned something. Have a wonderful day. Take care and be safe.